message on my answering machine. Hi, I'm trying to reach Carlton. This is Madonna. And I was like, what the fuck? That tour was about freedom. Freedom as a human being, freedom in regards to speak the truth.
Still vaguely fit into it.
It was a wild, high-velocity family.
Each one of us would have taken a bullet for each one of us. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. You guys are the two originals in many ways, from what most Americans know best as Madonna's original dancers from the Blond Ambition tour. Can you tell us? I mean, we want to talk about the documentary, the Strike a Pose documentary. What is this film about?
Strike a Pose. Strike a Pose basically is a follow-up to really give us, the guys, a voice, basically speaking about what the journey was while we were working with him, and then what our impact in the world has been as a result of it, from Blonde Ambition and Truth or Dare as well. So it's just covering our world and our perspectives.
What was it like when the filmmakers called you and said, we want to do a film about you? Because it's not something you hear often. In the film world, we see behind the scenes, and even then it's the director and the actors talking. We don't hear from the choreographer or the prop guy, When somebody calls you 26, now 27 years old later, proposing a project like this, what was your initial reaction?
I'm ready for my close-up.
Finally! Really?
No. I mean, it's nice to have a voice. Mm-hmm. Dancers, we don't get a voice. We're usually speaking with our bodies, so it's nice to actually speak. Yeah. That presented itself as a very unique opportunity, and I thought that was lovely. And it was nice to know that their focus was going to be on our stories, and she was more of a context, so that you could get more who we are and what our journeys have been.
Yeah. So then, was it the same for both of you, or
I felt the same way. I mean, they were really, really clear. They basically found us on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they sent out just a really well flushed out email, And as Kevin said, the lynch for me, or the key inside of it, was that they wanted to make sure that they created something that honored our voice. Right. Because we've been saying for years. I mean, we've gotten all sorts of offers to be involved in something that's addressing her or addressing that period. So there's some suspect always going on. But I had never heard anybody present something that came from this angle of really getting us to have a chance to be fully about what we are. So it was an easy thing. And then they said that they were going to fly over like 3 weeks later. And they did, and they met with each of us individually in different places. And just who they are and who they're being was so awesome. Literally, like 10 minutes in, I was instant yes.
And their perspective wasn't one of fandom. It wasn't about, I'm a Madonna fan, so I'm going to do something that's related to Madonna so I can know more about Madonna. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that. It was that they had this experience where seeing Truth or Dare had given them this greater sense of freedom to be who they wanted to be, or freedom to be out in the world, whatever they wanted to be. And so it was us that they felt that gave them that experience, and so that was what they wanted to share in this movie, in Strike a Pose.
And from what I understand, online there's been, before this documentary, there's been a lot of interest in kind of that, where are they now? We want to know about these guys, because you guys had such an impact during that 1 year and the few years that followed. So there was actually a genuine interest in what you guys are doing now. Did you feel that way? Is that something that came across before this documentary?
I wasn't present to that. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, we've all been getting some version of fan mail, literally every year, monthly.
Ever since,
yeah,
ongoing forever.
yeah. But I mean, it was really Reijer Zwaan, who spearheaded. He's one of the directors with Ester Gould. They're incredible Dutch directors as a team. But it was him. His mom took him to see Truth or Dare when he was 11 years old. And then cut to, he was the one that started thinking, I wonder what happened to those guys. And through him doing the research, found out, as you said, that it has been an ongoing question through the social world.
The avalanche has come since the announcement of the movie and since we started screening it, whereas suddenly everybody's like, yeah, I had that experience, yeah, me too. And that's like this overwhelming like chorus of voices, like reiterating what they were thinking in their experience. And that's kind of this huge acknowledgement that we never could have anticipated.
And one of the things that Kevin and I have been talking about the whole time, because we have been getting some sort of acknowledgement throughout the years, but now there's this flood, right? And like, why does the flood feel so different and feel like a big deal? Because, I just admitted, I don't think I ever really took the fans seriously. It seemed like they were just doing a reach out to us so they could get in the camp and be part of the association and the thing. But what's been so freaking mind-blowing is when we're in the rooms with people, right? And you can just see it in their faces and tears. And, it's like, oh my God, like these folks are like serious. Like it really is. Like we have really done something for them. So that's
it solidifies your individual direct effect rather than the person you were dancing with or, your co-star. Yeah, incredible. Now, years later now, what can you tell us about the experience of touring with Madonna? What was that like for you guys?
God, it was a whirlwind. It was overwhelming and challenging in a wonderful way. It was like boot camp. It was like summer camp. It was like National Coming Out Month. It was nonstop. But I feel like we were all at an age where we could handle nonstop. I think she sensed that from us.
And what kind of a person was she then? What was your perspective of her then when you joined? What did you notice about her immediately?
Well, I'm glad I didn't have a preconceived notion of who she was or even of her fame. So I didn't realize how famous she was, and so I really just treated her like a normal person. And she earned my respect as I didn't just automatically give it to her. She earned it very quickly. Her work ethic was extraordinary. I thought she was harsh sometimes, but over the years, what I've started to really get a sense of is, it's difficult to be nice and make an impact and get your way and have things happen the way you want them. I've done my own work where I hand it over to other people, trying not to micromanage.
And it gets botched.
And it gets totally botched. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just so much easier if you do it yourself and you know what you want. If you know what you want, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that from her.
And I'll say, like, the thing for me that really stood out was how kind of like a normal chick she was.
Yeah.
Like the moments because I think some of us at some point got invited to her house. And like, I thought, by this name brand thing that I'd get there and it'd be a fucking chandelier that was crazy and this other thing and this other thing. And
everything would be gold.
And it was like, it's really understated and just elegant and simple. And she is she's a basic young artist person that was very normal. That's what really stood out to me. And then the persona she would turn on, and that was a whole different thing. And it's supposed to be a different thing. Yeah. But who she was much more humanized than I ever really thought.
Yeah. Her house was very comfortable. There was a lot of comfort. It wasn't flash. It was comfort and elegance. And what you did notice in amongst all of that was art books, photography books, and real art. Like,
she's great.
That
art.
Was the attention. She has really great art.
Yeah,
she's a collector. She has wonderful pieces, and I think that's where her focus is. It's like it's on the art and what you're creating, and it's not about like trappings.
I mean, I've always said from the beginning that I really have viewed her. I see her. She is a performance artist first, who happened to have been given a lot of money and a really great team to help her do it. But how she comes at it and her integrity for the art is like, she's hardcore artist.
She respects
it. Absolutely. She's a big stand for art. And she can just do it on a great scale. So,
do you wish that you were somehow stayed in contact with her somehow? I mean, and you said fame is a strange thing, you can't do it sometimes even if you want to. You have your schedule and all that. But do you wish you were in contact with her, or at least she made an effort to somehow stay in touch with you guys?
Well, some of us were. I mean, Jose and Lewis, she ended up working with them to get a full album done for them and gave them a lot of voice to that. I went back and did a second tour with her. So, depending on who you were, there was some of that. Absolutely.
I mean, our lawsuit sort of cut that short. But I've seen her since. And we chatted and hugged and held hands, and like it didn't seem like there was anything between us.
That's great.
That was difficult. But I would like to connect again. I would.
Right.
I would. Because I missed that time. It's been one of the most incredible joys of my life, reconnecting and really getting to know the guys again, and really realizing how important they are in my life and in our lives for each other. Right. That it would be nice to share this with her again.
Sure,
you know.
Carlton, trick question, I guess. Since you were the man who was trusted to lift her up, I'm trying to log my mind, see if anyone has lifted her up in the later concerts.
Not one single man.
Yeah.
There's been no other male dancers that's had that opportunity.
There was something at the Super Bowl, but it was really awkward.
There was no one guy all the way over his head.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. You know, when you come off a tour and something big like that, what was the reality of your life after that? How was it like coming back to the real you, the real life?